Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on the e.l.f. Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette. So in today's video, I will be showing you guys 3 demos as always, and I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on the palette and also some swatches. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about this palette and my thoughts on it, then just continue watching. Okay, so let's get started with some product info. This is the e.l.f. Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette. It comes with 10 matte eyeshadows and also a mirror. The palette itself is very slim, very compact, very lightweight, perfect for traveling. I got mine off the e.l.f. Australia website. Originally this is 30 Australian dollars, but I got mine on Black Friday, which I know was a million years ago. But yeah, I got this on Black Friday and I got it for I think $15 because I think their Black Friday sale was 50% off. And for those of you guys that are watching from America, I know the prices might sound very crazy. I'm getting ripped off, but that's just how things are here in New Zealand and Australia. Our makeup here is like so freaking, like, it's crazy expensive. Even like stuff like Maybelline, Rimmel, they go for like $20, $30, $40 for a foundation. So yeah, stuff here is really expensive. But yeah, that's pretty much a quick overview about this palette. Let's start talking about my thoughts. So the reason why I wanted to get this palette to begin with was because of Kathleen Lite and Tati. I remember them talking about the Matte for Matte palette and them really liking it. They're really good eyeshadows for like a drugstore palette. So when I first started playing around with this palette, I was like, the shades just look very dull once it's on the eyes. I think when it's swatched, they do look like how they look like in the pan, but you know, you see some of these warm tones here. When I put them on my eye, they just look very dull. They turn very gray, very cool toned, and if any of you guys watch a couple of my reviews, you would know that I do not like cool tones on me. It's just personal preference. I prefer more warm tones, and this is not the first time it happens with me. A lot of warm browns, like for this one for example, it's very warm, and a lot of palettes when I put them onto my eye, they just turn like really cool tone and very grey. As for the formula of the eyeshadows, they are nice. I mean, they're not half bad. I would just say they're quite average. There isn't too much fallout. There is kickback when you go into the palette, but once you blend it on the eyes, there is no fallout with that. It does blend out nicely. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to work with. I've used other eyeshadows that work, you know, a lot better. The pigment is okay, but I feel like there is pigment, like it does show up on your skin, but it just looks very like dull. I think that's the best way I can describe it. It just looks very dull, like it's lacking something. And you know, ColourPop has a lot of palettes out right now, and I mean, I love the ColourPop palettes. Like, they are one of my favorites, and you know, this price originally $30. It's really pricey. I get my ColourPop palettes, they are $16 US. It has 12 shadows, so 2 more shades in this palette, and I think it's probably about 25 New Zealand dollars. So it is a little bit cheaper, and you do get 2 more eyeshadows. And for me, I feel like a lot of makeup items, you can make them work unless they are breaking you out, then like, you know, stop using it. But for the most part, every single makeup item, I feel like even if I don't like it, I can make it work into my makeup routine. But this palette for me, it's like, yeah, I can make it work. Yeah, it does blend out. Yeah, I mean, the shadows are just okay. I can make a really everyday pretty look that I would wear on the everyday. But when I have palettes like ColourPop that is more cheaper, the shades are just a lot nicer, I don't need to make these work. They just work for me, you know what I mean? So I think my expectation of this palette was quite high because I love matte shadows. When I go out, I always wear matte shadows. I don't really wear shimmers too often just because I have a lot of folds in my eyes, and when you have folds in your eyes, everything just transfers. So I don't really wear metallics too often. If I'm going out for a very long time, I like to stick to my matte. Naturally, I would love this palette because it's an all matte palette. Yeah, it's just not for me. I think me just having ColourPop in the back of my head for a very affordable price, this does not even compete with it. It does not. And the 3 demos that I created was very hard to create, to make them all different from each other. There's only so much that I can do with 10 matte eyeshadow palettes and make them look very different from each other. So all in all, I don't hate it, I don't love it, I'm just kind of like in between. There are some pros, there are some cons. If I would have to recommend it to some of my, you know, fellow Australian or New Zealand followers, for $30, just pass on it. Like, just go buy some ColourPop eyeshadows. They make some really good matte eyeshadows. For those of you guys that live in America and want my opinion on it, I mean, I think in America it's probably like $10, I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I would still say skip on it. I would still say go and get ColourPop. It's just so much better, so much easier to work with. You want to buy products that work for you, not that you have to make it work for yourself. But yeah, that is the review portion. Let's go ahead and get started with the 3 demos and also the swatches. I'm gonna start off with the first shade in the palette, and I'm gonna use this to set my eyes. And then taking the third shade in the palette on my Sigma E40, I'm going to use this as my transition shade. I'm going to be going in windshield wiping motions in my crease and just blending it up to the brow bone and all over my lid at the same time. And now I'm going to be taking the 5th shade in the palette on my Morphe M433, and I'm going to start placing this on the outer V of my eye shape. I'm going to blend that into the transition as well, but mainly focusing the product in the outer corner. Taking the 8th shade in the palette, I'm taking my ColourPop small blending brush, and I'm going to start focusing this on the outer corner of my eye once again, but you can see that I'm focusing it more in a smaller area. That way we are really going to deepen up the outer third. And then I'll be taking the 4th shade in the palette, and I'm just going to apply that on the inner corner of my eyelid. That way we have a matte inner third, and this is going to be a completed whole matte eye. Taking that 4th shade in the palette once again, I'm going to use this on my lower lash line from inner corner to outer corner, just doing a whole wash of this color. The brush I am using is the Makeup Collective number 11 brush. And this is the completed look for look number 1. It is very soft and perfect for an everyday glam. The lip color that I'm wearing is Sorbet from Dose of Colors, and the lashes are Boudoir Lite from House of Lashes. To start off, I'm taking the 3rd shade in the palette, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. This time I'm using my Wet n Wild fluffy blending brush, but the same motion, putting this straight into my crease first, blending it up to the brow bone, and then a little bit all over my lid. Sorry, this portion's a little bit blurry. I didn't know why I didn't check if it wasn't focused or not, but sorry. Taking the 7th shade in the palette on my ColourPop fluffy blending brush, I'm going to put this into the crease as well, slightly under the transition shade that we just placed down previously, just to start slowly building up the very cool tone shades that we're going to place on top later. And then I'm taking the 2nd to last shade in the palette on my Morphe M433. I'm going to start packing this color all over my lid and slowly blending it up into the transition shades we placed down earlier, just to get a very good ashy gray smoke. Taking the 8th shade in the palette, I am going to use this on my lower lash line. Same thing like the last look, just inner to outer corner, just a wash of the same color. Brush I'm using is my Makeup Collective number 11 brush, as always. And then quickly just taking the 1st shade in the palette, I'm going to use this to highlight my brow bone. And this is the completed look for look number 2. It's very cool tone, very smoky, something that I personally wouldn't wear a lot, but I really liked how it turned out. So for my lip color, I am wearing Seduction from NYX. It's their lingerie liquid lipstick. And then for lashes, I am wearing Boudoir Lite again from House of Lashes. And for the third and final look, I'm going to mix the third and fourth shade together for my transition shade. I'm using my Wet n Wild fluffy blending brush again. Same technique, I feel like it's always the same, so I'm going to skip over this. Taking the fifth shade in the palette on my Morphe M433, I'm going to put this all over my lid, start building up the intensity of the smoky eye, just all over the lid, just under the transition shade. I'm taking the 8th shade in the palette and I'm going to start packing this on my eyelids once again, just deepening up the whole smoky eye. You just want to use the lighter colors first and then the deeper colors later. The brush that I'm using is from XO Beauty. It's her Tulip crease brush, I believe. Taking the darkest shade from the palette on my ColourPop small blending brush, I'm mainly focusing the shade on my eyelid, not really into my crease, because this is the darkest shade. You want it to have more of a gradient, so focus it closer to your eyelid. Using the 5th shade from the palette on my Makeup Collective number 11 brush, once again, I'm going to run this on my lower lash line. And then taking the 8th shade from the palette on a very small detailed angled brush, I'm going to press this against my lower lash line. A little something different. And this is the completed look for look number 3, a more warmer smoky eye. For my lashes, I am wearing Boudoir Lite once again. And then for my lip color, I am wearing Ruffle trim from NYX Cosmetics. And that, guys, is going to conclude my video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy it and found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up for me. Also, again, I'm sorry that the 3 demos weren't anything like crazy or fun. They are just more like everyday wearable looks. I mean, there is only so much that I can do with 10 matte eyeshadows and make them look completely different. So hopefully you will still find it helpful for more like everyday makeup looks. But yeah, that is pretty much everything. Comment down below your thoughts on the palette. Do you guys have it? What do you guys think of it? But yeah, that is pretty much all I got to say for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!